In just a couple of minutes on the mainstream. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We got a lot to cover. Trump just had an epic press conference earlier today in Scotland, so I'm going to start with that. But there's a few other things we're going to cover on the program today as well. So don't miss a moment. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. I'm going to go live in just a couple of minutes. And, of course, anytime I'm live streaming in the studio, I do take live calls. I'm going to put the number in the live chat for you guys if you'd like to call in. Welcome, everyone. The toll-free number is pinned in the chat, so if you want to call in about anything I bring up, you're welcome to do that. Welcome, everyone. I gotta wet my whistle. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Second bottle. Stand by. Now, the other stream, which I'm going to start in just a moment, that's where you'll be able to see and hear the audio and video that I share and the articles I go over and everything. Here you can see and hear me and hear the callers. Welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And oh man, President Trump had an epic press conference in Scotland today with this Prime Minister of the UK, the British Prime Minister, who I'm not a big fan of. He's not a little liberal, he's very liberal, and I understand he's an atheist. What's that about? I mean, who would elect an atheist to run their country? That seems crazy to me. But yeah, would you elect an atheist to run if oh, no way. No way. You know the thing about this, I'm going to get to Trump in a moment, but the UK has an atheist prime minister, and I personally believe that's very dangerous. You know, if you're an atheist, you think that there's nothing after that, after life. Once you're no longer on earth, that's it. There's nothing. It's nothingness. If that is your philosophy, which this liberal prime minister's is, he only cares about earthbound things while he's here. That makes somebody very dangerous in a powerful position like that, in my opinion. And I get creeped out by atheists anyway. And atheism, sadly, is a big trend in the UK. And I was a big fan of Ricky Gervais for years, and then I found out he was an atheist. I don't watch his stuff anymore. As talented as he is, as funny as he is, I just don't like atheists. But anyway, let's get to President Trump. So, President Trump has done what every president says they're going to do, but never does, and he's done it times infinity. And that is being fully transparent. This is the most fully transparent president and presidential administration we have ever seen, from the live cabinet meetings to what happened today. And the most controversial thing that liberals are throwing out is Epstein. Right? They're obsessed with this. And President Trump has press conferences every day. He's like me here on the phones on this program. You know, all the calls, whenever I take phone calls, and you're welcome to call in. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can call me live if I'm in the studio right now. The number is pinned in the live chat on whatever stream you're watching on, and it's a toll-free number, 888-465-2631. I take screenless calls, unvetted calls. You call me, you're on the air. President Trump, with the press conferences that he has, it's the same thing. If you're there, you can ask a question. And you can ask him about anything. And he doesn't have to answer it, but he can, and he does oftentimes. And he doesn't take questions from people on a list like Biden. He takes questions from people, he doesn't know who they are. He's never seen them before, and he takes their questions. And today in this press conference, somebody asked about Epstein, and President Trump gave like a 5-minute response talking about everything Jeffrey Epstein. And that is amazing. And I'm going to go through that in just a moment. But you know, just to give you an example of how other presidents are, they don't do this. Biden, the Autopen administration, there were camera angles that caught him. He was taking questions from pre-approved people. He'd have a list with their name and their photograph, so he'd make sure he got the right one. And I remember when Bill Clinton was president and the Lewinsky affair broke, Bill Clinton did not have a press conference for like 2 years. That's not an exaggeration. He did not have a press conference for a long time because he was afraid of a question. So this Epstein stuff has been going on like crazy, around and round and round and round. Any other president would avoid this, not President Trump. He's taken questions on it. And today, he gave a very long answer that went on for several minutes. Let's go through it. And it was absolutely amazing. So here's our favorite president, the 45th and 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump. He's sitting next to this atheist UK prime minister. And this idiot reporter asks him about Epstein. Yep. Yep. The worst scum on earth, and he named the names. Yeah, I think those are perfect titles for them. Yep. Yep. That's right. Okay, now see, this is absolutely fantastic. It's not just the most transparent presidency we've ever seen. He's asked this question, and there's other things he'd much rather be talking about. Is he fazed? He's not fazed at all. And, you know, over the past couple of days, you've seen these Obama conspirators on TV, Clapper and Brennan. They look scared to death. because they're guilty and they know they're guilty and they're freaking out and lowering up. Donald Trump, does he look like he's got a worry in the world talking about Epstein? Let me rewind it a little bit because I want to play the whole thing. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, how can you argue? If there was anything in there, they would have used it. Why didn't they use it? And they were doing everything. They were breaking in his house. They were arresting him. They were shooting him. All these things. But if they would have had, if he were in those files with all this stuff, of course they would have released him. If you're on hold, stand by. After the president, we'll take some calls. Yep. Oh. Okay, now this is on this fake Washington Post cartoon card to Epstein that Trump is actually suing the Wall Street Journal over this, saying that he drew this picture and then sent it to Epstein. That's what this question's about. That's right. Exactly. At his position. Who would, I mean, that's like a confession. Who would make a written record like a confession like that? Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. You know what I'd like to see them do? Bring out that body language expert on Fox and analyze Trump's body language. Does he look like he's hiding anything? Does he look or sound like he's anything but confident? Does he look or sound anything other than like an innocent man falsely accused of all this garbage? Absolutely. This is okay. They're asking why he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. Mm. Oh my goodness! Oh, more names named. Bill Clinton went there. How many? Let me rewind that. This President of the United States, he dropped something on Clinton. Oh my goodness, 28 times. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I mean, so 5 minutes he's talking about Epstein. This is brilliant stuff. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. The number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. If you're watching me live on YouTube, you can call me live right now. The toll free number, it's toll free no matter where you're watching me, is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on the air.
Hi. Hi, my name is Sam. I actually called yesterday, and I'm really happy that you're talking about Epstein now, because you didn't want to talk about him yesterday. We're so focused on the UK tariffs. I'm really confused how you could saying that he is showing so much innocence. I know you're going to call the Wall Street Journal fake news, but they reported that Pam Bondi told him that he was on the list, and then they reported that there was no list. Epstein didn't kill himself, but now all of a sudden we have reports that the list does exist.
Well, when I say that he looks in it, you know, when see as a
she might get a pardon.
Slow down first. Calm down. You know,
What do you mean calm down? You're downplaying a pedophile.
I'm not down. No one's a pedophile. No, excuse me.
Okay, so
since you are, I'm gonna listen. I didn't know. No, I didn't say that. You don't even know what that means. I am going to answer. I'm going to respond to what you said. I'll do it with you on the phone or without you on the phone. I'll keep you on the phone if you stop saying that P word and stop interrupting. As a liberal guy, you don't know what...
I'm not liberal.
Yeah, I know. You know, as a liberal guy, you don't understand...
I'm not liberal.
Whatever. Yeah, you know, as a liberal guy, you don't...
I'm not liberal. Stop saying it.
Well, you're not going to be on the line for very long.
Well, why can you tell me to lie?
Well, you got to stop interrupting me. If you interrupt me again, I'm going to hang up on you.
Can you represent me correctly?
I'll represent any way that I want to represent. Okay, you get your own show and you can represent people how you want. But obviously,
I would hope that.
All right, that's it. I gave him the warning. You know, I was talking about the body language expert. And you see how President Trump is sitting in the chair. Did I give him enough warning not to interrupt? You see how President Trump is sitting in the chair. He's totally confident. He's sitting in a stance with his legs spread, which also shows confidence. He's talking about something on international television at a very important and historic international state visit. And you can tell by the way his body is reacting. You can tell by the way he's sitting. You can tell by his body language. You can tell by what he's saying that he is fully confident. He's not a guy who's guilty, who's hiding something. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Unvetted phone calls my ass, Brian. Why did you block my phone number?
I don't even know, Jack, I don't even know your number.
You are such a liar, Brian. You are afraid to hear from liberal callers.
No, I'm not afraid to hear from liberal callers, but when I take...
Why did you block my phone?
I don't even know your number.
Why?
But when I take calls, okay, this is what you and some of the others have to understand. I'm asking for people in the audience to call and comment on what I'm talking about. Not think that they become a co-host. So President Trump in this
Excuse me. You're just afraid.
Excuse me. No, I am conducting a program. Okay, you're welcome to participate, but I am going to talk about what I want to talk about or move on. President Trump made a
talk about what you talk, Brian.
What
there's
is it?
nothing wrong with
What is it with you guys and the interrupting? What is it with you and the interrupting?
Problem. You interrupt me just as much as I do you. I do give you respect, and I try to talk.
Listen.
But you know what? You're a horrible person.
This is. I am hosting a program.
You're afraid of debate, aren't you? You're afraid.
No, I'm not afraid of debate. What I don't like are people like you calling in hysterical and not having a conversation. Now I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and the conversation is about what Trump said today. Well,
you're full of it, Brian.
All right, you're okay. I appreciate the call. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not here to turn the show over to you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm back. It's Sam.
Sam, it's one call. It's one call per day. It's one call per day. Thank you very much. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. I'll answer some of these other calls. If you're on hold, hang in there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Clearly no one else is on the line because you keep...
No, I'm answering all the lines, and I can't help it if you're calling in on multiple lines. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Alex. I'm calling from Baltimore, Maryland.
Hey, Alex in Baltimore. What's on your mind?
I just saw your show. I figured I'd call in. I want to talk about the body language. I hope that's on topic.
Absolutely. That's on topic.
Yeah, well, let me preface this by saying I couldn't have been more of a Trump supporter.
Of course.
Earlier, 2015, 16. I started to fall off the wagon, so to speak. I remember this. I'll never forget.
Fall off the wagon? What does that mean?
The Trump bandwagon. I guess it's an alcohol analogy too, so maybe a poor figure of speech there. But
I would agree with that.
One of its first rallies in 2017, people started chanting "Lock her up," as they were wont to do back then.
But President Trump never said that. President Trump never said "lock her up" at any of those rallies. People in the crowd did.
Well, yeah. All right, but I think we all remember.
No, he never said it.
I mean,
he said
he said in jail. He said if I was in president, you'd be in jail. So maybe he didn't use those words. That was the big.
So that's when you dropped Trump. That's when you dropped Trump. You used to be a Trump supporter until that.
Well, I used to be a sycophant, and that's when I became a regular supporter. And
yeah.
I was just gonna say about the body language. I just wanted to comment that. Here's a guy who's been art of the deal. He's been in the public for a long time. I mean, if you do stuff like that, you become somewhat of a body language expert. You can look up what body language.
So you think his confidence is fake? Okay, so now you said you were a Trump supporter. When did you stop being a Trump supporter?
I think Trump changed a lot between when he announced his run. He was going to run again in 24. He announced that in 22, and he had a really great speech. He said, "I'm going to be your vengeance. I'm going to be your retribution." Sometime within the last 18 months, he started hanging out with the wrong people, accepting money from the wrong people.
Who's he hanging out with that's the wrong person? You said, I can't support him anymore.
Well, I mean, a lot of our enemies came over, like Mark Zuckerberg spent a bunch of money in 2020.
So let's slow down. So because he met with Mark Zuckerberg and some of these tech people, you don't want. So you didn't support him. So you didn't vote for him in 2024.
Yeah, I didn't vote.
Who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for?
The electoral.
Who'd you vote for in 24?
Well, I didn't vote.
You didn't vote.
Maryland, all the
You did vote.
In Maryland, all.
You did vote.
I did vote?
Yeah. Not voting is voting for the Democrats. If you're a conservative and you don't vote, it's like voting Democrat.
Let's keep the Electoral College in mind. I'm from a state, Maryland. Maryland's never going to go for the Republican candidate. I mean, some states are swing states. Some states are kind of set in stone. I'm in a set in stone state. I was excited, so I voted for him in 16.
So because because Zuckerberg came and sucked up to President Trump, you dropped him?
I just think it was emblematic of a larger trend.
Emblematic of a larger trend. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. You support the Trump agenda, right? Shutting down the border, pro-life, getting the trade deals, right? You support all that, right?
I support all that, but I don't think Trump embodies those things.
What do you mean? Wait a second. What do you mean? What do you mean? He shut down the southern border. Slow down a second. He shut down the southern border. No illegals came across last month. You just said he's not pro-life. He overturned Roe v. Wade. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of babies have been born because the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade because he put justices up there who would do it. He overturned Roe v. Wade. How can you say he's not pro-life? How can you say that?
He made some statements.
He overturned Roe v. Wade.
You're interrupting me. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
He overturned Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, I mean.
So so take that back then.
Take it back. Melania is making some comments. He supported her when she came out and said, "I don't know." I mean, it's not. He said
you're going to judge. You can't judge. Hold on a second here. You don't judge a man based on what his wife says. You said he's not emblematic of these things. You said he was not pro-life. He overturned Roe v. Wade. He's pro-life. He put justices on the court who would do it. That means he's pro-life.
Let's be very clear about what Roe v. Wade. It's overturning Roe v. Wade simply gives the right to the states. It's not
the Republican Party position all along since the 1970s has been, because Roe v. Wade came in 73, mostly the 80s, but from the Reagan era right up until it was overturned, the Republican Party platform never said outlaw abortion. The Republican Party platform always said overturn Roe v. Wade and let the states decide. That was the Republican Party platform since President Reagan, and President Trump did it.
So if it's let the states decide instead of let's do a ban, I don't know if you could say it's pro-life. What if the states decide? I mean, it's more of a states' rights position. If the states
the big beautiful bill cut funding to Planned Parenthood. A bunch of Planned Parenthood clinics have closed down in California just this week over that. So to say he's not pro-life you're being dishonest with yourself. What other positions has he backtracked on in your bizarro thinking?
Man, I was hoping to have an amicable discussion.
Well, you said you used to support Trump and you don't now because he doesn't support the things he said. Right. You said he's not pro-life. He is. What other position are you going to try to argue that he promised and didn't support and didn't do it?
Well, mass deportations aren't happening. I mean,
are you kidding?
Like the big problem.
Of course they are. I went to Alligator Alcatraz. They're sending. There have been over 1 million deportations. Many have self-deported. There are mass deportations going on.
There's no quantifier for mass deportations. Like if people leave, they're not like
he's getting a lot of them. He's getting a lot of people to self-deport. He shut down the border. The big beautiful bill cut off the Medicare and Medicaid for the illegals, and other things that they've been sucking illegally off the government from. They're self-deporting, and Tom Homan's been leading arrests all over the place. They've been rounding up criminals from I don't know what your story is, but there's something off with you.
Wait a second. No, they just got the jobs program. I mean, now it's violent criminals are going to be prioritized. But before
Well,
the election,
yeah.
it was let's get everybody out of
No,
here.
no, no. It was always the violent criminals first during the campaign. He always said that. The violent criminals first because they're killing and raping people.
They're letting people from agriculture and hospitality stay on these work programs. It's de
No,
facto
no. In
amnesty.
fact,
I mean,
President Trump walked that back about 2 weeks ago. He mentioned it about a month ago, and 2 weeks ago he says, no, we're not doing that. Changed my mind. He said it at an Oval Office press conference. Hey, listen, I got to take a break, but you're a good caller. I don't mind you challenging me.
I want to talk about Epstein, and we didn't really
No.
get up to the body language.
Call me.
Sure you have to
All right,
go?
I do, but I'll give you a moment for the body language.
All right, yeah, just one moment, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, look, Epstein, I think we all know it wasn't really about the pimping or the P word. It was about blackmail, and the reason it hasn't come up is because Democrats are blackmailed too. Everybody's blackmailed on behalf of Israel. We know Epstein got his money from Les Wexner, the former president of the World Jewish Congress, and now all these people support Israel to the detriment of our own country.
Wow.
Mike Johnson just shut down Congress early so they couldn't vote on whether or not to release these files. And Trump's best friends with Bibi. I mean, he said no more wars. Now we're bombing Iran. There's a big...
Oh, I didn't realize we're
there's
at
a
war
big
with
turnaround.
Iran. We're not at war with Iran.
We're not at war with Iran.
No,
We're
he
not
bombed.
negotiating. They said they're not
They,
gonna
we
trust
bombed.
us
We
anymore.
bombed the nuclear facility, and that's it. That we're not at war. There's no war going on with us in Iran. No.
Everybody's saying...
Do you want? Let me
nuclear
ask you.
stuff is
Let me
still
ask you something.
active.
Do you watch the news? All right. Hey, listen. I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take a break and be right back. I want to take a moment to talk about Okay, we're back, and moving on to some other issues. This is not the kind of thing I would normally talk about, but I'm going to bring this up today. This Sydney Sweeney American Eagle jean commercial. You know, all of these leftist Karens are, and I noticed the ones I'm seeing are, I say Karens because they're white women, are coming out and saying that it's racist. She's talking about her genes, and of course they think because she's white and has light hair and she's talking about genes, she's talking about Nazis or something. Obviously, this is the biggest blue jean ad that we've had since, I don't know, the Jordache era. I can't remember the last time there was a jean ad that was talked about in the news. But let me play some of these, a couple of these meltdowns that these Karens are having. And you know, Karen is a racial slur, but since I'm a white person, I'm allowed to use it. It's kind of like the N-word for whites. But anyway, this is this strange woman, this Karen, talking about the Sydney Sweeney jean commercial. Okay, so Sydney Sweeney, you know, she's obviously, when she talks about jeans, she's talking about blue jeans because it is a commercial for American Eagle jeans, blue jeans. And she's wearing blue jeans and she's got, I guess, a jean jacket on, so she's all denimed out. And, you know, here's the problem that these leftists have. The left had decided that white people were no longer going to be models, that especially for fashion, that it was going to be non-white, overweight women that nobody wants to see in any commercials. And Sydney Sweeney here, who's less than a mediocre actress, she's the first white model in a mainstream national campaign in 4 or 5 years because we had this woke period that we just survived. And they just can't handle the fact that they're having a white model again. Here's one more. And notice it's these white women that are freaking out about this. Oh. See, they're obviously not talking about racial genetics. What they're saying is that her large chest is passed down through the family. I guess the women in her family are all built that way, or at least that's what they're implying in the commercial. Oh my goodness. Yes. What is fascist about this? Does anyone know what is fascist about this ad? How do you turn an ad that is about blue jeans for a blue jean company? How do you turn that into racial genetics and racial purity? Yes, the blue jeans she's wearing, idiot. Oh my goodness. I don't know. You know, I lost all this weight, and I haven't bought any new jeans. I've been wearing old jeans from years ago. I need some new jeans. Maybe I'll go to American Eagle this weekend and buy a pair of jeans or two that are the right size with all this weight I've lost. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, well, I doubt she's experienced the male gaze too much in her life. The male gaze. Oh, well. That's right. See, blue-haired, blue-eyed white people aren't allowed to be models anymore, actresses, and they're not. I have blue eyes. Is my hair blonde enough? I don't know. It depends on how much sun I get. So those of us that have light hair or white with blue eyes, we are not to be public. We're to be segregated somewhere. We're not allowed to be models or spokespeople or be public. Well, now I was young during that Calvin Klein and the Jordache era. However, you can't judge then based on now. I mean, she had that movie Blue Lagoon, which was inappropriate, Brooke Shields and all that stuff. But the reason I'm sharing this, and there's a very good reason, this is what President Trump saved us from. Look at the brain damage that's been done to the childbearing years generation. The birth rate in the United States is at one of the lowest levels it's ever been. The birth rate in this country, according to the latest statistics, is just barely above the death rate. And that's how you lose a country, right? You gotta have more babies than there are people dying. If more people aren't born than are dying, you're in trouble. And what's happened in this country is the generation of those that are of childbearing years are so messed up in the head from all this woke propaganda that they've had to suffer through. They don't have the kind of sex that leads to pregnancy, planned or unplanned. They got all these different genders and sexualities now and everything else. And what this really is, And this, I could play videos like this all day, because the internet has just exploded with these lunatic liberals like these two that I shared with you over the Sydney Sweeney ad. It's endless. It's going round and round and round. And they're upset about two things. One, they don't think white, blue-eyed people should be spokespeople anymore. You need to be non-white and very overweight, and then you can be a model. But the other thing is they don't like heterosexuality. And this obviously is an ad about heterosexual sex. Unless maybe some lesbians might be interested in Sydney Sweeney. But for the most part, it's an ad about heterosexual sexual attraction towards a woman. Men having an attraction towards a woman based on the genes that have given her some assets. And the very idea that there's heterosexual activity going on is disgusting to this generation. And that's a pretty frightening thing, I got to tell you. I want to take a moment, though, before we go back to the phones and some other topics, to talk about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. If you don't have these great MyPillow products, you are missing out. I have everything. I mean, I have the entire, I call it the MyPillow sleep system. My wife and I, we have the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. We have the MyPillow sheets. We have the MyPillow towels. We have all the different MyPillows. We've got everything. All these things you hear me talk about, we have them. And I bought them all using our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, except one. The very first MyPillow, we bought that regularly. We didn't have the promo code then, and it was so good and amazing. And, you know, before I got that first MyPillow, I had tried everything to get a good night's sleep. And I even had this one pillow. It was a bamboo pillow. It cost like $200. Oh, my goodness. Foam pillows, everything. And I just couldn't find the right pillow. And my wife got me a MyPillow. And that was it. I was hooked, and I've not slept on anything other than a MyPillow ever since. So go to MyPillow.com. There's huge savings going on. You can see right here the premium MyPillow. This is really cool. We have this pillow too. This is an upscale MyPillow. It has that piping around it, and it has an upscale cover to it as well, made out of that Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world. And look at that, just $24.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. Now, you can use our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout on everything at MyPillow.com that's on special, not just the ones I talk about. So, you know, just site-wide, just huge deals. And, of course, a huge savings on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper that I've been talking about so much. So go to MyPillow.com and use my promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and get the best night's sleep you've ever had for the rest of your life. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Billy French from Indiana.
All right, Billy in Indiana. What's on your mind?
I've been listening, and it's a joke with some of these liberals, what they're saying, and look, as adults, you know, you get lied to, and you find out things, you realize how people speak to you, and you get a feeling about how people lie. That's just the way things are. But when it comes to 8 years of lies, putting all of us through all of this stuff just so they can maintain power, just so they can try to steal and destroy. I don't really think most people are going to play games with liars. And it's sad that, you know, we hear not just youth, but we hear adults repeat these lies constantly. Look, we have children to raise in this country. We have a responsibility to teach them about the truth, to teach them how to have good morals. And we watch it on TV where I think most of us, I'm 50, I think most of us learn, watching these programs like ABC and CNN, you're going to get lied to. And if you don't get off that hook that our boomer parents got addicted to, you're really going to lose sight on what your dreams could possibly be. You're going to be a lesser person because you're going to think there's nothing to hope and to hold on to for this nation. If you have children, I have 7. You have to live every day as hard and as fast as possible. You're going to make mistakes, and you got to fix them along the way. And I just think that for the most part, Trump being reelected proved to all of us that we were right. The feelings we had that we were being lied to and this nation was being stolen from is all true. Now, if these liberals want to bring up Jeffrey Epstein and all this, that's the most pitiful way to try to demean someone's character, is to try to bring up pedophilia, any type of crime against people's rights and stuff. And look what they did. They did it exactly to him. Mm-hmm. And I just appreciate you. I listen to you almost every single day.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate, and you know, there's a new thing you hear it with the callers, you know, and they're these fake former MAGA people. You know, they all call. You know, I supported Trump until this. I was MAGA until this.
I think it's a lie.
Of course, it's a lie.
I think they're liars.
They're all liars. They're all liberals. They're all liberals.
I think they just want to make money off the grift, and they're doing that, and that's fine. But we call them out because we know. Look, I'm not a perfect man, but I know a liar when I see one, because one time in my life I was not a perfect man and I knew how to lie. But those things will destroy a life. Yeah. And I appreciate you. I listen to these couple callers calling back, and it's a joke. And I don't know how you deal with it, brother.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Yeah, so, well, you know, it's a living.
To you, man.
It's a living.
You.
Well, thank you.
I listen to you almost every single day, sir.
I appreciate that. Well, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, take care. Yeah, I appreciate you guys, all you listeners. I do. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You know, this is an old tactic by the Democrats. Like, I remember this goes back over 20 years, when Air America Radio went on the air, when, around the time of the Iraq War. And I made a prediction on the air. I've been on the air a long time, guys. I made a prediction on the air before Air America debuted. It was a liberal talk radio network. If you're not familiar with it, Rachel Maddow did mornings on that. Al Franken was there, and a bunch of others. Janine Garofalo and others. And I said before they went on the air, because I know how liberals operate, I said, watch. Every other caller is going to be someone who claims to be a lifelong Republican, but they're no longer a lifelong Republican because of something George W. Bush did, right? And first day, it was the first call I heard on the first day I listened, it was to the Randy Rhoads show. Randy, I've been a Republican all my life. My family are Republicans, but for the first time, I'm voting Democrat for John Kerry because George W. Bush. The Democrats, see, the late, great Rush Limbaugh used to have this saying. He says, Democrats have that old tired playbook. That's all they got, the same plays. And you do it long enough, you see all the plays, and they never change it up. And now their thing is, oh, I was a Trump supporter. I was MAGA until, President Trump is the only politician. He's officially a politician now. I hate to call him that. It's, because it's almost like an insult calling someone a politician. But he's the first president, the first politician that has kept his promises, one after the other. And not only does he keep his promises, he makes so many promises and then he accomplishes them. He has to make new promises. Promises made, promises kept. Remember that? And, so to say that he did something that it's absurd. Because first of all, to go from being a MAGA Trump supporter to supporting the left, which is what you're doing, means you're supporting an open border, high taxes, globalism, climate change, abortion. You'd have to be supporting all these things, a long list of them. Defunding the police, all this stuff, democratic socialism. You can't go from a conservative to that. You can make the other switch from liberal lunatic to conservative, but the only way that you could go from being a true MAGA supporter to a liberal is to have a head injury and have brain damage. So all these people that call me that say, oh, I was a Trump supporter until, that's a lie, okay? They never were Trump supporters. And if you watch the news, they were trying to float this thing a few weeks ago when all this Epstein propaganda came out, which was a psyop put out by the Obama people because they knew that Tulsi Gabbard was coming out with all this stuff. They started to try to go with this move that Trump supporters were leaving him. And some of these Benny Johnson types and others who were giving Trump a hard time about that helped them promote that lie. MAGA people are MAGA for life. You don't go from being MAGA, supporting the President of the United States, to being an advocate against him. Anyone who tells you that is full of it. If they were vocal MAGA before, they were fake MAGA. All right, let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jake. I'm from Colorado.
Yeah, Jake, what's on your mind?
Well, I guess I'm calling to talk about some of the Epstein stuff and try to get a read for...
Well, President Trump said today, and this is what we're talking, and I'm open to hear your response to this. President Trump in Scotland today said, he was asked about Epstein. He talked about it for minutes. I started the program playing that and going through it. He said, if files, all these people that were trying to take me down, Biden, Kamala, the ones who were arresting him and shooting him and stuff, why they would have dropped the files then? The very fact that they didn't shows I'm not in them. Makes sense, doesn't it?
No. I mean,
how does it not make sense? Hold on a second. The Never Trumpers arrested Trump 3 times. They broke into his house. They brought him into court. They were trying to put him into prison. They sued him a whole bunch of times. They shot him in Butler. They tried to shoot him again at his golf course. But if all they had to do was release some files with his name on them, that would have run him out of the race. They decided not to do that. Explain that decision to me. Why didn't they do that?
I don't think that's the issue. I mean,
Well, that's the issue I'm talking about. Explain to me.
Hold on. Can I talk for a minute?
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, come on. There's got to be some back and forth.
Go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah. So they being, I guess, the Justice Department right now, a lot of those people ran on releasing the files. Okay, or Pam Bondi, Bongino, they all had this huge platform where they said they were going to release the files, and now they're not releasing anything. Pam Bondi did this whole smoke show of giving all these influencers these fake files.
Yep.
You know, and now all this stuff's coming out that is implicating Trump.
No, what has come out? Excuse me. What has come out? What has come out that's implicated Trump? And nothing's been released. So what's come out? Since nothing's been released, what's been released that's implicating Trump?
I mean, there's video. There's new stuff every single day.
No, there's not. Tell me the newest. Tell me the newest.
With Epstein back then.
Oh my gosh.
Supermodel.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Dating.
Hold on. Slow down.
Hold on.
No, excuse me. Well, I'm going to stop you down. I'm going to stop you down on those. There's video of celebrity events like New York Fashion Week with a lot of celebrities. Okay. Last week, President Trump ordered Pam Bondi to release everything. These files are sealed under federal court order. Pam Bondi went to court. She asked the judge to unseal all the Epstein files, which includes this list. The judge, who was appointed by Barack Obama in 2014, refused to release and unseal the Epstein files that are under court order, locked and sealed. So what do you do with that?
Are you saying that Trump can't release them?
Correct. This list with the names and all this stuff of the files has been a part of court processes, court cases. They are sealed under federal. They are sealed under federal court order.
Listen to the courts.
Yeah, he does.
He's listening to the courts.
Yeah.
So he defies the courts.
No,
and everything else.
He has not defied a single court. He has not defied a court. No, he has not defied a court.
Listening to the courts.
No, he has not defied a single court. He has not defied a single court. Everything he's done's been upheld by. No, he's appealed decisions.
Garcia had to come back, and he didn't bring him back.
He's back in the Garcia's. Oh my! He's back in the United States.
Yeah, weeks later, when a court.
Yeah, okay. So Trump.
Someone takes 3 weeks. That's not.
Okay, so he obeyed the court. So he obeyed the court.
No, he didn't. He did not obey the court.
Yes, he did.
And there's all these whistleblowers.
Well, hold on. With the Garcia was in. Excuse me. Garcia was in. Hold on a second. Garcia was not in U.S. custody. He was in the custody of El Salvador. There was a process. Donald Trump can't go to El Salvador and break people out of jail. There's a process.
You believe that Donald Trump didn't have the power to bring him back. He didn't have the power to.
He's back. He's
really
back.
Believe that?
He's back, but there's a process to do it.
What is it? You just go back and forth. Did he have the power to bring him back?
No, he had to. There's a process that they have to go through. They can't do it instantly. No, there's a legal process. It's another country. He just can't go to other countries and snatch people out of prisons.
Can I ask you a question?
You've asked a lot. Sure.
So do you really believe that Trump wants these Epstein files out? Do you really believe that he's not trying to keep them under law?
Yes. Yes, that's why.
In what world do you believe that?
He sent Pam Bondi. He sent Pam Bondi. He sent Pam Bondi to court to get them all unsealed and released with the names, and the Obama-appointed judge wouldn't do it. So you want him to defy a court order from a federal judge? Is that what you want?
Pam Bondi says she has the files already. She says she's got the files on her desk.
But the names.
Are you talking about the grand jury testimony?
She misspoke. She said she misspoke.
She misspoke?
Yes. You never misspeak?
Okay.
Yeah. You never have misspoken before.
If you believe that, then you're going to believe anything they say. Then
I will always believe Trump. Absolutely. Yeah, of course I'm going to believe Trump. Hey, listen, thanks for the call, man. I do appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Now, before I get, if you're on hold, hang in there, and I have some other stories I want to get to. But first, I want to talk about Tom Leaporta at Leaporta Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need roof repair or replacement, Tom Leaporta is your guy. He's a good MAGA guy, and he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. And what that means is, if you need a simple repair, he will do it. Now, if you need a new roof, he'll do that too. But I have talked to many listeners who have been shocked. He's come out and said, no, you just need a repair. There was one guy who is on his HOA for a big condominium community. He had several roofers come out, and they all said he needed a new roof. And on a condo, that's a big job. Tom Leaporta from Leaporta Roofing came out and said, no, you just need a simple repair. Isn't that amazing? That's right. Now, he covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. That's right. And he works on every type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, even does churches. And he works with every type of roofing material there is. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Leaporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. You can also text him, 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LeaportaRoofing.com. All right, here's the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, today. He was asked about all this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Associated Press, who's had some problems with the Trump administration, if you have forgotten. Mm-hmm.
For 4 years, under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now. For 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so and that was today. So JD took questions on it. The president took questions on it. He talked for like 2.5 minutes about it, JD. The president talked for over 5 minutes about it. It came up yesterday. So this idea that they're avoiding something is just absurd. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Oh, hello, Brian.
Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Adam from New York.
Hey, what's up, Adam?
Not much. I just want to call you. A few days ago, on your podcast, I heard of a caller called in, and he said how he felt bad for Joe Biden.
The caller did, or I did?
No, the caller did.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that? That was like maybe
no.
it was last week.
No recollection.
But you were shaking your head.
I have no recollection of that.
You were shaking your head. Oh, okay. But anyways, I was just calling. I was really disgusted to hear that from somebody. You know, him and his family caused a lot.
I mean, look at those poor service personnel who were killed in Afghanistan just because, and God knows what else he's done over the. I don't know. I don't remember the call. No.
Yeah, it was in on your podcast, morning podcast.
You know, Joe Biden is probably the most corrupt, most scummy person ever to be president of the United States, and that's saying a lot because there's been a lot of. I know George W. Bush is a war criminal, and that's tough to top. But when it comes to sleaze factor and scumminess, I think Joe Biden probably is the #1 scummiest president ever, and more than Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for your. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the call. You too. All right, good call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Nick, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
I was just, listening to some of these callers. Either these are the most pessimistic people on earth, or they're just Democrat plants. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Again, like I said before to you, I don't understand where these people are coming from, what they don't see. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's mind-numbing. And I'm sure,
Well, there's a mix. A lot of it is seminar DNC callers, and some of them are just soy boys that are not manly men. And, and Trump triggers their daddy issues and all that stuff,
Well, yeah, and the idea that people are so ridiculous that, like in that Sidney Sweeney ad thing, they have to look and see something that isn't there.
Exactly.
These people are absolutely unhinged. And, this is what they.
Well, you know what it is? I'll tell you. And there's also another thing. These Sidney Sweeney people are mostly the Gen Zers. And the callers you're talking about are the Gen Z callers. They're mentally ill. There's I don't know if it's all the foods. I don't know, but they're very angry. They're very weird, and there's a lot of mental illness in that generation. They just don't see the world right.
Yeah, and a lot of it I blame on Barack Obama.
Yep.
So a lot of it has to do with him. What we're seeing here in this change of thought and this whole anti-constitutional thought form, that's him.
Yeah.
And absolutely him. And I mean, when was it American to be un-American? I understand that.
Just giving an example here, okay? I told you guys when it comes to Epstein, I'll talk about it when there's new news. Right? Not just some random free thing so some liberals can come in and say the P word and say Epstein and get all excited. And we had two big news stories today. The President of the United States is involved in a historic state visit in Scotland. A reporter asked him about it in an important press conference that the whole world was watching, and President Trump spent 5 minutes talking about Epstein. That's news. The Vice President of the United States, same thing, took a question and talked for over 2.5 minutes about it. So today, live. And so to say they're not being transparent is just to be lying to yourself. I mean, that's it. It's just bizarre.
They've given them not more time than they needed to about that. I mean, they have it all under control. And you know what? That's like I said before, this is all they have. And they're going to try and really push that as much as they can. They really don't care about anything else. They have nothing else. And there's so much good that, like I said, so much good has happened in this country, and you know what? They don't want to. Of course, they don't want to talk about that.
Well, you're talking when these guys that I hear from that are upset about this. You're talking about guys that don't know how to change a flat tire on their car or check the oil, and I'm not kidding. They're not real men.
Well, I mean,
no?
I don't know where their minds are. I just don't know. I don't know what happened with them and why they have to. What.
I mean, when you talk about this generation, before you're married, you're in your early 20s, like a lot of these guys you're talking about that call me are. Was your mind on people like Jeffrey Epstein? No, your mind was on like the Sidney Sweeney stuff, right? You're like, you were lusting after trying to get these guys. They don't even try to get girls.
Yeah, and that's why and you got this whole thing that's going on with the birth rate's really down. Everything's going down because a lot of the way these people
act the way these people think. I mean, the women, they really should be ashamed at how they really go. I mean, it's disgusting. How,
And President Trump just shut down. President Trump just shut down the largest sex trafficking operation in history when he shut down the southern border.
Absolutely. You know what? I don't know what they're looking at, what they see. That was the most incredible thing to happen. I mean, the slave trade and slave routes have been shut down, and women are safer than ever.
Yeah.
And Roe Wade is, like you said, it saved thousands upon thousands of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And and I don't know what are they. Well, they just can't get past this, and it's pretty pathetic. But you know what? I mean, what's great is that most of the country thinks the right way, and that Donald Trump is the right person, and he's going to continue to make America great, and we're going to just continue to prosper. I mean, everything that he just did overseas is just absolutely impressive. That he did yesterday, and absolutely. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. 'Cause it can only go up.
I'm excited for him to come home because when he comes home, he doesn't rest. He's gonna do something big.
No.
He'll do something big. Last time he came home and gave us the big beautiful bill.
The guy's a machine, and you know what? Everybody should be so grateful and appreciative to see a guy like this, because no one's ever been able to stick themselves out. Everything's done so honestly and straightforward and absolutely perfect. And I don't know, we've never seen an effort being this much. How do you get upset when money comes flowing to this country like it has?
Yeah.
We've never had this before. We've always been the losing end.
No.
And I don't know because they don't pay attention. They get their news from TikTok or wherever the hell they get it from, and it's pretty disgusting. And this media, these Reddits and all this other crap that they look at, I don't know, there's all those fake social medias. There's different sites, there's millions of them.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely ridiculous because they don't want to look at the right. And then they try to credit like CNN as viability all of a sudden. And, you can ask them for one thing that they learned on it, and they can't really tell you anything. And then they just repeat talking points. It's that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they come up with their own stuff and just say, "Wait, did you just think this up? Is this what you think? Where's your proof? And where's your
Exactly.
fact?" They got nothing.
Exactly.
They don't have it. All they have is speculation, is wishful thinking, is fantasy. Donald Trump's about facts and proven statistics, and he wants to get with reality here, and this is what he's doing. This is what he's getting this country back to, and this is what we need. And we've been out of that. We've been in the spell for too long, and I think this is amazing. It's way too long. We've had this. We've had Obama and Biden. That's just enough. And we got blinded by George Bush, and that crap, sold as conservatism.
That's
we
true.
have a real conservative now.
That's right.
It's amazing.
That's right. Well, listen, I gotta run, but a great call, and call me again sometime. You're a very good caller.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, take care. Now, if you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, and you also get a lot of exclusive content that I post nowhere else. My wife and I both post a lot to my Patreon page, and these are things that get posted nowhere else. Of course, the commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes. You also get a live on-air thank you shout-out if you're a top Patreon supporter. And the top Patreon supporters get their name up on the screen here on YouTube. The names you will hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, and Janice. These are my top Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the video, and the direct website address is patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. That's patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Well, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell. And if you're on hold, well, I'll be back tomorrow in the morning, and I'll take your calls then, all right? Take care, guys. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.